Okay, so last night we did volumes of prisms and cylinders, so tonight we're going to do volumes of pyramids and cones. So we have the same basic formula, B, capital B for area of the base times height, only because this is a pyramid, not a prism, we need less of it. It's going to have less volume. So 1/3. And there's a cool graphic in the book that I'll show you tomorrow where it shows you where the 1/3 comes from. Because basically if we had 3 of these equally sized pyramids, I could fold them and put them together and it would make 1 cube. So it takes 3 pyramids, square pyramids, to make a cube. So that's where the 1/3 comes from. Remember, height has to be perpendicular. So if it's a right figure, it's going to go down the center. If it's an oblique figure, it'll probably be outside, but they'll have the right angle mark either way to show you what's happening. Okay, so find the volume of a rectangular pyramid with length 11, width 18, and height 23. So formula, 1/3 BH. So 1/3 11 times 18 for the base times 23 for the height. Let me get my calculator here if I can get it to work. 11 times 18 times 23 divided by 3 is 1518 meters cubed. Remember, we're still in volume, so we're still cubed here. Okay, y'all try B and C. Okay, so for the square pyramid, we have 1/3 9 times 9 times 14. So that would be 378 centimeters cubed. For the hexagonal pyramid, I went ahead and substituted base with 1/2 AP. So I had 1/3 times 1/2, which was where I got the 1/6. The apothem is half the side length on the square root of 3 times the perimeter. And it said the height is equal to the apothem. Okay, so then I just did some solving here. 1/6 times 6 is going to cancel out. So square root of 3 times square root of 3 is just 3. And then the 72 stays, and this 6 stays down here. So 6 times 3 times 72 is 1296 feet cubed. All right. Word problem. An art gallery is a 6-story square pyramid with a base area of 1/2 acre, and an acre is 4840 yards squared, and 1 story is 10 feet tall. Estimate the volume in cubic yards and in cubic feet. Okay, so we have to be careful here because we have all kinds of units going on here. We have acres, we have yards, and we have feet, so we need to be careful with what we're doing here. Alright, so volume equals 1/3 base times height. So a base area of 1/2 acre, so 1/2 acre would be 2420 yards squared. And the height would be a 6-story building. Each story is 10 feet. So the height would be 60 feet, but I need to translate that into yards. I know that there are 3 feet in 1 yard, so I'm going to do 60 feet times 1 yard over 3 feet. Remember, we discussed in last night's video that we want the units to cancel out. So if I have feet on top, then I need the feet to go on the bottom, so feet cancels out with feet. So that would be 20 yards as my height. So 20 yards as my height. Okay, so that is 16,133.33, or I could change that to and a third, but this is a word problem. Yards cubed. So then it wants me to estimate the volume in cubic feet as well. So now here's where you have to be careful. So we know our scale factor is 1 yard for every 3 feet. But we're talking about cubic yards into cubic feet. So we're going from talking about measuring like perimeter yards and perimeter feet to volume. So we actually have to cube this scale factor. So this would be 1 yard cubed over 27 feet cubed. So instead of doing times 3 to get it from feet to yards, we're going to actually do times 27 to change this over. So now I'm using my script calculator because it's all I have, so be kind if this is wrong. 43599.91. So 435,599.91 feet cubed. Okay, this is exactly why on the chapter 9 test where we had that tile problem where I told you had to convert first because I didn't want you to miss this property. So we're still doing our scale factor cubed when we're going from our feet to yard conversion to our yards cubed to feet cubed conversion. So that is a lot of cubic feet. All right, let's see what's next. Cones. So we're still going to have the same basic formula, 1/3 BH, only because it's a cone. I know what the base has to be. I know it has to be pi r squared, so I can go ahead and plug that in. So let's see. 1/3 pi r squared h, a radius of 7 and a height of 15. So let me see here. Alright, so 1/3 times 49 times 15, 245 pi centimeters squared. Okay, y'all try B and C on your own. Alright, B. Find the volume of a cone with a base circumference of 25 pi and a height of 2. So we have to use the circumference to solve for the radius. So the radius is 25 over 2. So then I can use that in my formula. The height is 2 inches more than twice the radius. So twice the radius would be 25. And then 2 more gives me a height of 27. So that works out to be 225 halves pi inches cubed. On this one, they give me the slant height, but I'm doing volume, so I want vertical height for volume. So I have to do Pythagorean theorem, which this actually ends up being a Pythagorean triple. It's a multiple of 8, 15, 17. So that height ends up being 30. Once I get all that plugged in, it's 2560 pi centimeters cubed. Okay, last one. The changing, the diameter and the height of a cone. So all the dimensions of a cone are divided by 3. What would be the effect on volume? So volume is cubed, so that would be 27. So we would say the volume is divided by 27. Okay, go ahead and try the last one. The radius and height, so all the dimensions of a cone are doubled. What would happen to the volume? 2 cubed is 8, so I would say the volume is 8 times as large, or the volume's been multiplied by 8. Either way. Okay, see you tomorrow.